Happy birthday, Christmas.
Dog burying montage.
Oh, what a movie.
Dog is dead. Grandpa dying without his insulin.
I gotta get my insulin.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back, listeners, to another Stocking Stuffers episode. I'm Jeff Searcy.
I'm Jay Logsden.
We're those guys from Horror for the Holidays. In case this is your first episode ever, which again, apologies if this is your first episode ever for what's about to happen.
Oh man, yeah. Go if this is your first episode. If for whatever reason you're like, you know what, new year, new me, I'm gonna listen to a new podcast. And you pick this one. Go pick a different episode of Horror for the Holidays. Also, not our previous Stocking Stuffers episode.
You should start with Stocking Stuffers episode 2, like any true fan would.
I mean, you know, once again, like Stan Lee said, every comic is someone's first comic. Is potentially someone's first comic.
No, don't remind me about that guy.
I mean, we're big Jack Kirby fans here. It needs to be said.
Well, Jay, what do you want to talk about first? All the Christmas movies we've been going to, your spooky Christmas haunted house, your spanking encounter with Krampus.
That was fun. I figured we would just kind of call this Christmas horror happenings. There's been a lot of fun stuff that's happened the month of December.
Yep.
And we'll just kind of talk about. We saw a bunch of movies. We mentioned them all on the podcast. And I got up to some other nonsense, and we'll just start with the movies and kind of move our way forward with stuff. I guess right off the bat, I did mention to you off the air. And you said, to bring it up on the episode. Mm-hmm. Some people were talking about the 2006 Black Christmas, and I was like, oh, you know, and I was thinking about it, and then I had this moment where I was like, oh, I had like a great thought about that movie that I don't think I articulated on the podcast, and that was that like the lights, the music, like you know, all that technical stuff that I was praising in that episode. Like I loved it so much that like I want to live in that movie. Like I don't think I you know, that tells you how much I love all the crunchiness and all the stuff around the movie. You know, I just don't want two killers crawling through the walls trying to gouge my eyes out repeatedly.
So it seems like a world I'd really want to live in the walls of.
Yeah, I'll be living in the house, and Jeff will be crawling through the walls trying to dig my eyes out.
I mean, that would be very interesting. I'm pretty sure everyone would hear me every time I moved in the walls. But, oh, God, it's so narrow in here.
First movie we saw was
Anna and the Apocalypse.
Yep, Anna and the Apocalypse. We went to we went to Anna and the Apocalypse and Krampus at Flick's Brew House, and we went to Black Christmas and Dial Code Santa Claus, aka Deadly Games, at the Varsity here in Des Moines. So yeah, we'll just do it in the order that we saw the movies.
Might as well make it simpler that way.
Yeah. You know, if you've listened to our Anna and the Apocalypse episode, you know our thoughts on Anna and the Apocalypse. We loved it. It was great.
Very good. This is the first time my wife was subjected to it.
Yeah, I'd say even better on the big screen.
Yes, it was worth going to see. I'm glad we decided to go. So I was a little like, well, we've already seen it, but no, it definitely made a difference.
I mean, one of the first things I noticed, you know, because when you're watching it on a regular TV, even I would say like a pretty big size TV, you're liable to like miss things. One of the first things I noticed was when Anna and John arrive at the school. John goes to like throw his coffee cup away and completely misses the trash can.
Yeah.
And I'm like setting the stage right there that like John constantly is like clumsily like missing stuff and whatnot.
What a doofus.
Like immediately after that he knocks over all of Sarah's presents.
Yes.
Like for the homeless driver or whatever. But I just thought it was so funny that like he walks in, goes to throw it in the trash can, just completely misses.
Well, you know, can't win them all. Or, I mean, in his case, any of them, but whatever.
I thought the crowd was like pretty good. I honestly I was expecting more people singing.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I went to White Christmas sing along. 2 days ago, and no one was really singing in the sing along either. So I don't know. Maybe people are just too embarrassed.
yeah, I was singing. I was the one person singing.
He was. I saw.
And people laughed at the jokes. I think
No, it seemed like it landed pretty well with the audience.
and I had a pretty full theater, which I mean for. We had varying returns on people at theaters.
I was gonna say it was weird because we figured Krampus would probably be packed, and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
And then Anna and the Apocalypse had way more people than we thought it would.
Like Anna and the Apocalypse was in a bigger theater, like way more people there. Krampus was in a much smaller theater,
And yeah, not even close to full.
but I mean, just as good as it was on the big screen. Like,
It was definitely enjoyable, and if you have any kind of, I know there's flicks. I think there's like 7 of them in the U.S.
yeah, I think so.
They're doing that naughty or nice promotion thing where you can do the scratch off cards.
Yeah. What we both got popcorn.
Yep, free popcorn.
Yeah, which I think I immediately lost my card. So
Which I'm gonna redeem mine tomorrow for free popcorn at Elf's 20th anniversary screening.
ooh. Oh, hey, listener! Now you can go back and see when we actually recorded this episode.
Oh boy, yeah, because we think this is coming out on New Year's.
Yeah, that's the plan.
A little New Year's special for you guys.
But yeah, the next then that following Thursday we went to the Varsity.
At a creepy late night show.
Yeah, the Varsity, the local theater. It's kind of like owned and operated by like a independent film organization here in Des Moines. I don't know its exact name off the top of my
I
head.
think it's like the Des Moines Film Preservation Society.
Yeah, and it was an old theater by Drake University here in Iowa, and it was in Des Moines, and it was a I saw I want to say the Spanish language version of The Secret in Their Eyes. It came out a couple years more recent. I think it had Chiwetel Ejiofor in it. But there was originally like a Spanish version of it. I think it's like an Argentine movie.
Oh, okay.
And so I saw that version there, and I think that's the last movie I'd seen there. Saw like a couple other. My mom would drag me to like random foreign language movies. They used to have like a balcony, which they've kind of redone the inside of the theater, and now there's 2 theaters. There's a smaller theater upstairs and the main theater downstairs. Yeah, we got our plan was to Jeff and I were going to meet up, and then we were going to meet up with one of my friends and go grab a beer before the movie. By the time we got there, we were just my friend was busy, so he wasn't able to make it. And Jeff and I were like, "Well, do we just go in, or do we go get a beer?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't want to be late for the movie." So we just went in and went to the theater immediately.
Didn't want to miss 1 second of Black Christmas.
And I had the place packed out pretty well. I would say there were at least a couple people in every row.
Yeah, I was surprised at how full it was, honestly, for a show that late.
Yeah, they do a thing called like Midnights at 10 where they show like grindhousey movies every Thursday night. And so I've seen Total Recall there. They did Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Thanksgiving, which I thought was hilarious. I also saw Lost Boys there. And Lucio Fulci's The Beyond.
Oh boy.
So I've seen some fun stuff there for these Midnight at 10 promotions, and these were the best too. The ones we went to here. One thing I would have loved to have seen, and I know I'm not in charge, and no one at the Varsity, someone at the Varsity would have to actually be willing to do this. But I thought it would have been really cool if they'd had like a Christmas tree up at the front, kind of lighting up, or something like that, just to kind of like. For set decoration, and you could dim the lights on it or something like that. But I thought that'd be kind of a cool little look.
That would be cool. Yeah. I mean, they could decorate the theater pretty well because it's got that entryway and everything.
But yeah, nice little theater. I think prices are pretty reasonable.
Yeah, considering it's basically a non-profit. Yeah, it's not too bad.
But yeah, I mean, Black Christmas on the big screen was amazing.
Yeah.
I've now seen all 3 of my favorite movies on the big screen.
Wow.
Alien, Black Christmas, and the Paul Rudd Jason Segel movie, I Love You, Man. My 3 favorite movies.
Every Rush fan has seen that.
that movie, random aside, my buddy Judd and I used to run radio show up in college, and we would do a thing called Jay and Jed Go to the Movies.
Ah.
And it would just be, we would like constantly change our rating system. Like we would and not only would we change between episodes, we would change between like, Judd would be like, I give it 2 thumbs up, and I'd be like, I give it 5 stars.
Ah.
So even like within the episodes, we would have different ratings.
That would be amazing.
Sometimes we would review new movies. One of the ones we got to see was I Love You Man, so we reviewed that one. Another one that we went to go see was or one time we did like, I think Goonies. We had, like we just reviewed Goonies together. I was like, everyone's seen Goonies. Let's talk about Goonies.
Goonies. 2 thumbs way down. I hate you.
That's I Love You Man. That was when I first saw it on the big screen, and like, you know, not a great movie, but it's really funny with a lot of funny people in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's decently funny, but yeah, I watch it for the Rush myself.
I watch it for Rush and Lou Ferrigno and Paul Rudd and Jason Segel and Joe Latrulio.
Yeah, there's a growing number of people I've seen online with like an irrational hatred of Paul Rudd.
Well, they all suck. He's the sexiest man alive, circa 20-something.
20-something, whatever. 20.
I mean, the Ant-Man movies are fine. I've not seen the newest one.
No one has, Jay. No one has.
But no, back to Black Christmas. I mean, on the big screen, it looks amazing. The sound quality was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's been a bit of a complaint, I think, amongst people on some of like the DVD transfers, is that the sound is sometimes bad.
Yeah.
But like there were lines that I never picked up on, and I like, you know, I normally watch movies with subtitles on and never even like was basically like on the subtitle listed as like unintelligible or whatever.
Yeah, no, you could definitely, it must have been like a full restoration of the theater soundtrack, because you could definitely hear like little stuff off screen even. But I thought, yeah, and the picture quality was pretty good too. It didn't look like super grainy or anything.
And I mean, Billy's phone calls, like I've always thought those kind of get, you know, when it gets a little weird, like sometimes they're just like unintelligible or whatever. Like on the subtitle, like you could fully hear like what Billy was saying in every single line.
Very nice, crisp audio quality. And I think that might be a combination too. The Varsity has a lot of, for the size of the theater, it has a lot of speakers too.
Yeah. Also, I do believe there was one person sitting close to us, because when the movie finished, you know, Jess passes out in the bed. Everyone leaves. Fucking Lieutenant Nash doesn't, you know, send anybody up to check the rest of the house.
Why bother checking?
And so, you know, and then we get the scene where, you know, Billy starts coming back down the ladder, and we cut to Mrs. Mack and Claire, and then we pull out of the window, you know, that long scene. And then, you know, the lights come up as the phone rings, and then like, and the movie ends as the credits roll. I heard one person close to us be like, wait, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, basically like, is she dead? Like, does she live? Does she die? And it's like, that's the whole point, man.
Nobody knows. But if I had to bet, I would say she's definitely dead.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I'm a Jess is dead truther.
I mean, Billy's in the house, and there's nothing to stop him from killing her, so I don't see why he would let her live.
But yeah, it was so much fun seeing Black Christmas on the big screen. It was so good.
Oh, it was fun.
Then the following Monday, we went back to Flicks, and we saw Krampus on the big screen. It's been a yearly tradition since we've started doing this podcast of
Gotta see Krampus.
we go to see Krampus on the big screen. It's good. It's good every single time. That's the one of the 2 movies we've not talked about yet for the podcast.
Yeah. Convinced my wife to go. Now she's scared of gingerbread men.
Oh man, no, it's so good. Like, you know, we'll do a full review of that and Deadly Games when they eventually come up on the wheel.
Definitely.
But Krampus is so good. Like,
it is.
Even if it kind of mixes and matches Krampus metaphor and or in story or lore or whatever, you know, it does a bit. It tries to be more like he's an evil Santa, as opposed to at least what like Krampus the Christmas Devil got a little bit more right, was that like they're more companions than they are like rivals.
I mean, I suppose if you want to give Krampus the Christmas Devil that credit,
that's the one piece of credit I will give it above other Krampus portrayals we've had.
It also kind of just, since they're companions, it made them like morally equivalent too,
which was weird. Yeah.
Yes, they're just, Santa does not have a problem with Krampus raping women. He just has a problem with him doing it on his time.
But the certainly, the Krampus costume is amazing. We mentioned that on the Krampus the Christmas Devil episode.
No.
It looks so good.
It's like I don't think it's gonna be topped, honestly.
I love all the creepy movie like all the monsters.
Yes, his like minions / helpers, they all look. Oh, and apparently that white angel thing in the attic, that's supposed to be Frau Peaches.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing. But yeah, I did not know that. That's great. But all the elves are fantastic. I love the little elf minions.
They look like super demonic. It's great aesthetic.
The gingerbread men are fantastic.
Just get my ass kicked by a bunch of Christmas cookies.
The teddy bear's great. The Jack in the Box is awesome.
The Jack in the Box is by far the creepiest one.
There was something that I noticed, when we watched it this time, but I've seen this movie. I think this is probably like the 5th or 6th time when we went and saw it last.
I think it's the 4th time for me.
I never noticed that like on the sides of the Jack in the Box are old like Krampus postcard imagery. And then also on the the main boy, whatever his name is, Max.
Yeah.
On his advent calendar where he has all the different things. Like, not only do the monsters kind of match images on the advent calendar, like we get the snowman and I think we get like a teddy bear.
Yeah.
But I think we also see like kind of a creepy looking like gingerbread man in one of the images that kind of looks similar.
There is one.
But then at the top, when you open the Christmas day and it's the Christmas tree with all the presents underneath, there's like two demons, two Krampuses, like holding either side of the thing, which I thought was really neat.
So trapped in a snow globe for all eternity, huh, Jay?
I think it's the other way around, but
the other way around.
I think the snow globe is now Krampus is watching them and he has them on notice. But we can discuss that when we get to that movie.
Maybe. Maybe, Jay.
Maybe we'll watch the naughty cut too, which is which is like Michael Dougherty's director's cut or whatever when we do that episode.
That would be very naughty, Jay. We might be able to do that.
But yeah, Krampus is a great movie. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to watch. Even if, in comparison to like Trick or Treat, I wouldn't say it's as good, but it's still really fun to watch, and it's still a lot of attention to detail.
No, and like you said on the Black Christmas episode, it is very Christmassy. Like,
definitely.
There's not. I'm trying to tread a careful line here since we've never covered the movie, like in full on the podcast. I don't want to for anyone who maybe hasn't seen it, I don't want to spoil too much or give too much away.
Krampus is in it.
But it's it's so good. It's so much fun. Like it's a great ride, and like it's kind of a fun story, even if it's.
Warning: may contain snow globes.
And then they're the little aside where like one of the candy bars is the Howdy Ho bar or whatever, Holly Ho bar from Trick or Treat. So because they exist in the same universe.
Just a little Easter egg for you there.
When I first heard that they that the movies were gonna like share a connection or something like that, I was looking like in all the scenes. I'm like, oh, is one of the elves Jack?
Yeah,
or something like that, and and so I watched the whole movie, didn't see it, and then so I went and looked it up afterwards, and someone was like, "Yeah, it's the same candy bar," and I'm like, "Oh, that's something I wasn't even paying attention to." Like,
just have like Sam sitting in the corner, like watching them.
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting like at one point they the camera pans past real fast, and there's just Sam sitting like on the couch just watching what's going on.
That would be fun.
But as we know, he dies every October,
true.
Every November 1st. And is reborn every October 1st? I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. He's got to have some time to prep all of his schemes.
Then the next, that following Thursday, we went back to the Varsity. Man, we were just bouncing back and forth between places to see Deadly Games, another movie we've not covered for the podcast.
It was a deadly game. I will tell you that.
I don't know why it has the name Deadly Games. Like, I think Dial Code Santa Claus is probably a better name.
Yeah.
And especially because there are other movies called Deadly Games, so you'll be like, oh, I like the movie Deadly Games. Not that one, the other one.
Either that or you could have just called it Home Alone with Santa Claus.
But, this was, I think, like my second or third time seeing it. I think it was Jeff's first time.
It was my first time. And I think I will be adding it to my Christmas movie rotation.
It's so much fun. It's so goofy.
so goofy yet at the same time so like dark and brutal.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a weird movie, but it's so much fun.
I mean, what can you get any more dark than weird pedophile Santa dressed up guy loose in your house, Jay?
Right. Who just wants to like play games with you?
I
Like,
guess. I mean, as a prelude to some weird stuff, I'm sure.
like, but yeah, it's a very strange movie, but it's a lot of fun, and it's shot brilliantly, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, odd but surprisingly effective soundtrack too.
Yeah, the occasional like it's a French movie with subtitles, but occasionally like you'll just get like the midnight special playing on like the cops radio.
Or boom, Bonnie Tyler entire theme song.
Yeah, like, very weird, just out of nowhere. But it's a fun movie. It's worth checking out. It's one that I'm looking forward to when we get it on the podcast.
If your kids like Home Alone, show them this.
But yeah, it's the sets are amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, the house itself. That's great.
And like there's so many cool scenes of like the maze scene where he's trying to get to the office or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it then shoots from above of like the kid like running through like this maze trying to get to his and there's like a picture on the floor. Like it's so weird, but it looks so cool.
It does. And of course we all know that moment, Jay. That moment towards the beginning when he first breaks into the house. It was not.
If you're a does the dog die person, spoiler alert, the dog dies.
Not just dies, brutally.
Yeah.
Dies.
It's pretty brutal, but it's a wild movie. It's worth a watch if you can handle a dog getting killed.
Well, and don't forget, you get a dog getting killed, and then you also get a dog burying montage.
And you get the weird Eye of the Tiger-esque song, but it's not actually Eye of the Tiger.
You get the weird up-close sweat shots like from Rocky IV when Dolph Lundgren's character is training Ivan Drago, and they do all the close-ups of his sweaty muscles.
But it's like a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's like, 12 probably, something like that.
Yeah, he's probably 12.
But yes, it is weird. It's very French. I'll say that.
I think one of my favorite characters is the main character's like friend, like the fat kid.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's great.
Just riding away on his bike, like
Santa Claus is bullshit.
Trips and falls. That kid's a laugher, right?
I don't know. Grandpa was pretty entertaining too.
Grandpa's great. All the characters in that movie are great. There's not a lot of them, but all the characters are great.
Also, they cast like one of the creepiest looking guys I've ever seen to be the killer in this.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, absolutely. Just what a great movie. Then that following Friday was Joe Bob's Creepy Christmas on Shudder.
Did it creep you out, Jay?
No. It was all right. I think I preferred last year the Ghoultide Get Together a little better. Okay. But I love the two movies were The Brain and Ginger Dead Man. I had never actually seen either of those. Ginger Dead Man was one I had my eye on for a while. I'd never even heard of The Brain. And Ginger Dead Man was one that I always kind of suspected is Christmassy because it's a gingerbread man,
right?
Not because it's actually Christmas. And I think my theory was confirmed by watching the movie.
Well, it's a gingerbread man. Oh, I should show my wife that to give her more gingerbread horror.
Yeah, well, and Gary Busey horror, just general Gary Busey being a weirdo.
Well, let's not scare people too much, Jay. I mean, it's one thing to have a gingerbread man running around killing people, but to have him be voiced by Gary Busey.
But I did love my favorite thing, and they did not put it up for auction this year, but I'm hoping at some point they do. There was an amazing picture hanging above the fireplace in the whole during the whole episode.
Yeah, and
it was the Christmas Evil van
okay.
flying over the moon.
Yeah,
and I was like, me and at least one other person noticed it, and we're like, "Are you like? Is that going to be one of the auction items? I want that to be one of the auction items." It was not, but like hopefully in the coming years it might be.
It will probably be up eventually.
I will pay a lot of money for that.
I will pay for this.
Oh man, but
All the money.
it was a fun episode. I mean, it's always fun to log on to social media and chat with people. We'll watch Joe Bob and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, even if you don't like the movies Joe Bob is watching, the Community is always fun.
Yeah, Community's great. I mean, Joe Bob's fun, Darcy's fun, Yuki's fun. What, Jake, is that the name of the music guy?
Sure.
Like, they're all fun. It's always a fun show. They had the Sarah Lee from Ginger Dead Man. She came on to talk about that one. So that was
Red Lady.
Yes. I mean, that's why it's her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had her on. She was great. She's also now Charles Band's wife.
Oh, okay.
They got married. Joe Bob married them like within the last couple months.
Nice.
No, it was a fun thing. Stayed up late watching that.
He married him, and then he's like, "You owe me a favor."
And then other than that, I did go to a couple Christmas themed spooky stuff.
Yes, let's hear about these haunted houses, Jay.
So first week of December, there was a Krampus haunted house down at the Slaughterhouse, local haunted house here in Des Moines.
How Christmassy and creepy was it?
I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I've talked about it on the podcast before, I'm sure. But no, they basically, it's, I would assume, I've never actually gone during Halloween, but I would assume that it's, pretty much a similar layout or a lot of the same things, but all the people are now dressed as like elves, and they've got like demented like makeup on and stuff like that. They'll have Christmas lights wrapped around them and stuff like that. A lot of like dark scare. It's a very dark haunt, I would say. So some of them do dark, rely on darkness and kind of feeling your way through stuff, and some of them I think are a little more well lit, and it's a lot more about jump scares. And I think the Slaughterhouse does a lot with the darkness, and I kind of ratchets up your anxiety a bit. But it's always a fun one, and I just love the like wandering through like dark corridors with like only like distorted Christmas music and flashing Christmas lights to kind of
nice and creepy.
They have a creepy Santa who kind of sits out front and tells people to sit on his lap and tells dirty jokes and shit. He's great.
Nice.
The first time I went there, I think there was like this creepy kind of gross Santa, and then there was like a Mrs. Claus was kind of the guide at the beginning of the haunted house. This year it was just kind of like a helper. Nice. So I liked it the first time I went when there was like a Mrs. Claus. I thought that was cool, but I love the Slaughterhouse's Christmas thing. It's always a lot of fun.
So they also have a dirtbag Santa like Krampus. Christmas Devil.
All right, this Santa's probably both better and worse than shitty Krampus the Christmas Devil Santa.
No, that movie.
But yeah, it's great. I took some pictures. You're not allowed to take a lot of pictures inside, but I took some pictures. It was a lot of fun.
Well, maybe we can go next year.
Yeah, I always think it's a blast. And then after that, went to Zombie Burger and got their Christmas menu.
How'd you like that?
I got the roast beast burger.
Nice.
Which
Grinch reference.
Yeah, and it was all right. Did I get the Krampus milkshake, or did I get like a Krampus themed, like, I think I got like a Krampus themed cocktail that was pretty tasty. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had Zombie Burger. I mean, I think the novelty's kind of worn off for a lot of people.
I just like their burgers. I think they're pretty good.
No, I think their burgers are pretty good. Like, I remember when it first opened and, you were waiting hours to get in. And now, you can pretty much get in immediately.
Yeah.
But I think the food's always pretty good. I think the fries have actually improved.
Oh, yeah. No, the fries have definitely improved since the first couple of years.
But I always love their kind of seasonal menu and to see what they got going on. And, if I'm ever out at Jordan Creek and I'm like, oh, you know what, I want a milkshake, I'll go to the Zombie Burger and get a milkshake.
They do have good ice cream.
But yeah, I think the novelty's worn off, it's a fun place to go. I love Zombie Burger. It's always a blast.
Honestly, I think I like their burgers better than Five Guys.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
And especially because Five Guys, it feels like their quality's dropped off a cliff.
It's definitely dropped off. The prices have not dropped off, though.
The one thing I do miss about Zombie Burger, and it's not their fault. Do you remember Shiver, the TV channel?
Yes.
Or Chiller, maybe, was that what it was called? I think maybe it was Chiller.
I think both of those have been TV channels.
whichever one, when Zombie Burger first opened, they would have a TV that was always playing a horror movie.
Yeah.
And now, because I think that channel's gone, they and so, a dumb aside for me, but I just kind of like to be able to look up and be like, oh, what are they watching? Like, and that's not really an option anymore. But
No more horror for the holidays at Zombie Burger.
But I mean, it's a great place, good food. If you're ever in Des Moines and you kind of want a spooky little stop, certainly stop at Zombie Burger. It's pretty good food, great atmosphere. Like it's a lot of fun. It's worth the stop.
I agree.
And then to follow that up, a couple nights later, or about a week later, went back to the Slaughterhouse for The Haunt, which is a bar that is open on weekends, and sometimes it's like invite only, sometimes it's open to the public. Hopefully one day we can get a key so we can go to the invite only events. But you go back into basically to the haunted house, but it's through a different entrance.
Okay.
And you go back downstairs. It's the same kind of long hallways with doors and stuff like that. So we kind of, my wife and I go inside. We're kind of, what's going on? Where are we going? And we get more to the middle, and then there's just this whole room that's open up. There's a bar, tables, chairs. I took a bunch of pictures. There's a bunch of there's like a Christmas tree up on a stage. Like there's an organ with like a bunch of Christmas lights wrapped around it, and there's like some wreaths on the wall. Every once in a while, the organ will start spewing out like fog.
Oh yeah.
And so like that's really cool. It's a great effect. They had a whole Christmas horror themed drink menu.
Cool.
And yeah, this is where me getting spanked by Krampus occurred.
I saw that video.
My wife got the ornament, which was like a cranberry vanilla cocktail with like some evergreen sprigs and stuff like that. But they serve it to you in a haunt themed ornament.
Oh, okay.
And then you dump it into the glass, and then you could take the ornament home with you. It was pretty good. My wife had hers. I had mine. They were both really good. I had the Krampus, and it is essentially like an Irish car bomb. I think it was probably something with like rumplements or something mixed in with, but it's, you drop it in the Guinness, and then Krampus comes out to serve it to you. And while you're chugging your drink, he spanks you the whole time, telling you to chug. And that was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I was not expecting, Krampus to actually come out.
You drinking my drink, boy?
But that was great. I was trying to keep a straight face the whole time because it was really funny, and it's hard to drink when something just really silly is happening off to your side.
I thought it was a hilarious video,
but it was so much fun. It's a great little place. I got to meet the owner, talk to him. He was really nice. Ian gave him information about the podcast, so maybe we can coordinate something with him sometime.
That'd be fun.
But it was a blast. It's such a cool little venue. I want to go back. I want to go. Not only do I want to go back today, I want to go back. I just want to go back in general, even when it's not Christmas themed. Like, it seems like such a cool little place.
Well, maybe we can add that to our list of things to hit next. Spooktacular.
Yeah, I know, that'd be great too. But yeah, it's a neat little thing. Loved the haunt. Thought that was great. And then last thing I did was I had won some tickets to a haunted house out in out by like Omaha. I think it's technically like Glenwood, Iowa.
So like right on the border.
Yeah, I thought it was Council Bluffs, but it's actually like an hour south of Council Bluffs.
Okay.
And probably not an hour, but anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was they were like share and comment on this post, blah blah blah. And so I just did that, and I think my share was essentially, would I drive 2.5 hours to go to a Christmas themed haunted house? Maybe. And so a couple days later, I got a notification that I had won tickets, and I was kind of hemming and hawing about going. I'm like, it was the 3 days that it was. I was just kind of like, I don't have anything going on, but do I really want to drive all that way? Yeah. And I was able to talk a friend into going with me.
Bear in mind, this is the guy that drove with me for 4 hours to get a Slurpee.
Right. Yeah, I've got my priorities. A Slurpee's much more important than a Christmas-themed haunted house. But we got there, hung around Omaha for a bit, and then we went down and got in line. Immediately, like, you're rounding the corner, and you just see this big haunted house lit up with, like, Hillside House of Hell
Nice.
like right on the front. It's wrapped in Christmas lights. They've got big like iron gates out in front that are kind of like, and there was already a line of people forming. So we parked, got in line on like this dirt road. There's like a train track that runs like right above.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was kind of a neat look too. And so we're standing there. We got there about 15 minutes early. And so we're waiting in line. About 5 minutes beforehand, some of the scare actors come out and start like running around and harassing people in line.
Cool.
One of them was an absolute delight. It was this person with like long white blonde pigtails.
Oh, okay.
And they were like running around like telling people like sniff their balls and like would be like, I lost my balls, or like it'd be like jingle balls, jingle all the balls. Like just like would go around and would constantly like drop into like the Chris Farley like, lay off me, I'm starving voice. Oh my god, that person was an absolute delight. Some of the other actors were good too, but that one was so much fun. At one point disappeared for a little while and then came back with a wheelchair and started like driving the wheelchair through the line, doing wheelies and stuff like that. Nice. And then like, was trying to scare like some of the younger kids, and like one kid like kind of wasn't having it. And then it's like, they dropped their balls, and like, it's like, could you pick those up for me? And then the little kid's like, no, you do it. And leaned down to go get it. Oh, like, my legs don't work, and they had this little exchange. So leaned down to go get it, fell out of the wheelchair entirely. And then like the kid said something and he just like stood up, picked up the wheelchair, slammed it down, got back in it and rode away. It was hilarious. Like the exchanges with that person were so much fun. Scared my friend's daughter who went with us while they were getting out of the bathroom.
Nice.
It was, oh my gosh, it was so cool. It was a great time. And so the haunt itself was very, I think the idea is like that it's an abandoned mental hospital.
Oh, okay.
And but they'd kind of strung lights, and I do think they left a lot of the same decorations up that they do year round, like for the Halloween event, and just wrapped Christmas lights around it. But it was kind of a cool look. But all the scare actors were kind of like Christmas themed.
Cool.
And so it's about like a 30-minute walk, like through basically what I think was like an old motel.
Ah, okay.
And so, it's so you're kind of weaving in and out of rooms and stuff like that. And they do a lot with like, long hallways, and then like doors will open, like when you go back through, you double back around. But yeah, it was great. I loved the look. We got to a point where, we walked into a room. There was like a giant Christmas tree, and there were like some elves, and then like Last Christmas was playing, but it was like a techno disco version. And
Nice.
so like I'm just walking around singing it while walking through, and like one of the actors came up and started dancing, and so we started dancing together at one point.
Nice.
That was great. But no, it was a lot of fun. There's like a big courtyard area. If you are one of the people who doesn't like the whole chainsaw scares, there are a couple of those, so I will point that out. There was even one that was kind of inside, which is kind of, then you got all that gas smell that kind of.
Oh yeah, that nice disgusting smell.
Yeah, so that was probably my one complaint, but otherwise I loved all the lights and stuff. This one relied a lot more. I think there were a lot more well lit areas. This one relied a lot more on I think like loud noises and people kind of popping out. Than the Slaughterhouse did, which is more of a dark experience.
Oh, okay.
But no, it was a lot of fun. It was a fun trip. They had some really cool like giant gingerbread men outside the house. I took pictures of, posted online. No, that was great. And well worth the 2.5 hour drive.
Well, I'm glad, Jay. I didn't want you to be disappointed with that long drive.
But yeah, that was kind of the.
There's nothing as rewarding as a Slurpee at the end.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Drove back. From there the same night.
Did you get gas station Taco Bell?
No, we did not. So we got to eat. We got Korean fried chicken in Omaha.
Oh, okay.
Which was pretty tasty. And then stopped at like a Quick Star on the way back.
Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, got a burger and a Red Bull.
That'll fuel me up for the drive home.
Yeah. Had to keep my friend conscious so he didn't fall asleep.
Okay.
But yeah, that was. And both of those were great haunted houses. I had fun with all those things.
It's cool to see more of that kind of stuff coming to Iowa.
I think like the Christ Kindle Market downtown like does a Krampus lauf and does the running of the Krampuses. That's fun. But the something about like the Christmas haunted houses is just always a blast.
Yeah.
I was a little bummed that I think the previous nights at the Hillside House of Hell there was like pictures with Santa and Krampus, and like that wasn't really an option the time I went. I went towards the end of the weekend. I think if I had gone like the Friday or Saturday, I think it would have been more people. But it was so much fun. Like I loved the actors. I thought they were great. Both haunted houses had their they were different enough that it was like two different experiences.
Their own charms.
Yeah. I think also maybe one in either the Quad Cities or Dubuque, or maybe like Cedar Rapids does something.
I think I saw an ad for something in Dubuque on Facebook.
And so, and sometime we need to go to Dubuque because apparently that's where Maniac Cop lived. There's a restaurant that he used to hang out at. So if we ever figure that out, we need to go over there.
Some sort of Maniac Cop.
Yeah, for a Maniac Cop special, we'll go to the restaurant that the Maniac Cop used to hang out at.
Take some pictures.
But yeah, that was kind of the extent of my extra spooky Christmas stuff. Other than reading Christmas books or Christmas comic books, Christmas horror comic books. Speaking of which, Holiday Spirits 3, the Kickstarter, is up, but I don't know if it will be up by the time this episode is done.
Well, I think it goes through the end of the year, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I was gonna say let me pull it up. We'll vamp here for a second.
Well, I did some creepy Christmas activities of my own, Jay.
Oh, excellent!
I took the niece and nephew to see the Coca-Cola Santa out at the outlets in Altoona.
How was that?
He was so creepy. No, that went pretty good. All the kids actually looked at the camera when they took the Santa picture. Nobody cried.
Nice.
It was amazing. And then, I made my niece cry because there was a giant Coca-Cola polar bear you could take a picture on its paw. And I told her, watch out, it's waking up. And then she looked up and started crying at the bear. So that was fun and spooky.
No, I kind of like the Jolly Holiday lights at the outdoor mall. Yeah. I think it's a different kind of thing. It used to be a drive-through light display.
More like Santa's Rockin' Lights.
Yep. Which I have my issues with Santa's Rockin' Lights. But no, I kind of like the being able to walk through the mall and like there's just all sorts of stuff. The outdoor mall there in Altoona. I think that's great. I think that's a lot of fun and it's kind of a neat, different thing. I think enough people have complained that they'll probably go back to doing what they used to do.
I know you can't see this, listener, but I'll just let Jay give you the effect. So that's when I told her the polar bear was waking up.
Yeah, just staring straight up at the polar bear, like a worried look on her face.
And that's after she realized that the polar bear was waking up.
Oh, she looks so sad.
Excellent.
But that's I think it's a blast out there at the Altoona outdoor mall.
It's really grown. That whole area honestly has grown quite a bit in the last few years.
Well, they've got like Rudolph and Santa and Frosty like poking over the sides of the building. They've got lights strewn up all the way through the inside. Christmas music playing, big Christmas trees.
There was a Happy Honda Days dealership right across the street too.
No, that's I love it. I hope they keep doing it, but I'm sure enough people have complained that they'll probably go back to the drive-through display.
They might, but I don't know because I think the way that they've got it displayed now saves them quite a bit of money to not have to run the drive-through with all those employees and all the maintenance on the attractions and everything. So I don't know if they will go back. But honestly, I thought it was okay this way too. I mean, it's not obviously it's not what people were expecting it to be. I think is the main issue people are having. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if they just give it a couple years, people will get used to it.
I believe also Cedar Rapids has a drive-through lights display, and it's one of the like a big like nationwide chain of these. I've not gone and checked it out, but I read something about that. But speaking about Santa's Rockin' Lights, it's a drive-through light display. They play, there's a local radio station. They play music, and it kind of syncs up with the lights that are flashing. My big complaint is that they clearly don't have the license to use all the music, so they'll play like enough that they can get away with, and then they'll switch to the next song.
Right.
And I just don't like just getting into the jam of a Christmas song and then it switches to something else.
Yeah.
That's my big complaint about Santa's Rockin' Lights. Otherwise, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
Well, with the amount of money they charge at Santa's Rockin' Lights, you think they could license some music.
Oh, and when I've talked to other people, they've said like who've done it. I have a friend who lives in Omaha who's done it, and he swears they play the full song. So I'm like, okay, like maybe it's just a Des Moines one thing. I was gonna
say, do we just have like a weird franchise of this thing? The guy doesn't want to pay the licensing fees.
But I who knows? But yeah, I don't like the cutting out of the music and then starting another song. I'd rather get 5 full songs than 10 halves of songs.
Right. Which I've seen some cool displays at Santa's Rockin' Lights, like in the promo pictures and stuff. But it's kind of like it's for profit, where Jolly Holiday Lights is charity.
Yep.
And it's like, where would I rather put my money?
No, exactly. And we did Jolly Holiday Lights every year up until and we went this year too. But
and I mean now it's free to walk through and see the displays. But we bought the little light up stick lightsabers they were selling, basically like Christmas light lightsabers. That money all goes to Make-A-Wish.
No, it's great. I love Jolly Holiday Lights. It's a fun thing.
And plus, I mean, you're already at the mall.
Yeah,
lots of stuff to do.
Yeah, go pick up a couple Christmas gifts while you're there too.
Go across the road to the extremely overpriced and underwhelming Burger Shed. Jay.
Yeah, I'm also not a huge Burger Shed fan. But that's neither here nor there.
It's there, Jay. Ruin my Christmas.
No. But I mean, otherwise, if listeners, if you got up to some creepy Christmas happenings,
just let us know what you've been doing this Christmas season.
Leave a comment on our YouTube channel. Send us an email at horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. And just kind of let us know what you got up to. We love to hear it. If you live close by and you found something that we didn't mention, shout it out. Like, let us know. We'll try to do it next year.
Yes, anybody close by to Iowa, let us know any spooky things happening in the Midwest.
There's a horror convention that runs a show. I learned that here, I think a year ago, that runs a show in Austin, Texas, that's called Horror for the Holidays.
Yeah.
Every year, right around the time that they're running it, we get tagged in a bunch of stuff on social media.
Nice.
I know, it's like, oh no, we're the other thing.
We're the podcast. Actually, we're not the film festival.
I think they've been running longer than us, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a million Horror for the Holidays things out there. If
right.
You look. Well, and it's almost as unique as a spooktacular, Jay. I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of spooktaculars out there.
No, we invented that phrase.
But there's only one real spooktacular, and that's the Horror for the Holidays spooktacular.
But yeah, I would, if I ever get the chance, I'm down in Austin, I would love to go check out their Christmas horror convention. I think they run a big convention every year. It's called like Blood Over Austin or something like that. Or Blood Over Texas, maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
But then they run like a yearly, early December kind of Christmas-themed event, and it always looks like a blast. Matt Dupay went to one up in New Jersey that looked like fun this weekend. Met Felissa Rose.
Oh, yeah, I saw that picture of him.
Mike Lombardo does like a spooky book sale Christmas thing every year.
Who knows what sick, demented things that guy's doing.
Yeah, he's up to all sorts of weird stuff. But yeah, just I'm always seeing kind of cool stuff that I'm like, oh, that looks like a blast. I'd love to go check that out sometime. But
no, I agree. We should make it one of these years. We're gonna have to make it out to one of these horror conventions.
Yeah. We had a couple in Iowa, but I think they're all gone now. So, which is unfortunate. We just get started and everything closes down.
Honestly, I'm surprised there's not like a big one in Chicago or Omaha.
Yeah. We'll have to figure something out someday to make a trek and hopefully meet some of the people we've only talked to online and
that might be fun.
Get involved with stuff. But yeah, let us know what you guys got up to.
I mean, it seems like a good central meeting place for us would be Pennsylvania. Seems like a lot of stuff horror related tends to congregate around Pennsylvania.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean Krampus the Christmas Devil. But yeah, let us know what you got up to. Let us know what movies you watched.
Definitely.
If you watched classics, if you watched something new.
I mean, a good YouTube comment to leave would be like, leave your list of Christmas movies you watch every year.
Yeah, that'd be a great thing.
What are yours, Jay? Let's just wrap up with that. What do you
Oh.
say? Some Christmas movies you watch every year.
So not a movie particularly, but I love watching the American Dad Christmas specials.
Yes, For Whom the Sleigh Bell Tolls is my favorite.
That's a good one. There are so many good ones. The Omen spoofed one is great.
Yes, that was good. Shmanta has grown on me over the years.
Yuletide Repeat was so good.
Yeah.
All the American Dad Christmas specials are great. My kids love The Grinch, so that's always a watch.
I always watch The Grinch at least once.
Both the Jim Carrey one and the original one.
Mm-hmm.
I think my kids are still a little torn on the Benedict Cumberbatch CGI Grinch.
I'm not a fan of that one.
Let's see what I watch Black Christmas at least once.
And we always do Krampus at least once.
Yeah, and other than that, it's just kind of like what's on. Last year, pretty much the reason that I stumbled across, I wanted to see Christmas Bloody Christmas, but the reason I actually watched it was because I turned on Shudder and it was playing on the. I think Black Christmas was finishing up, and I'm like, oh, I'll finish watching Black Christmas, and then like Black Christmas ended. Christmas Bloody Christmas started. And I'm like, well, this is my chance to watch it. I'm gonna watch it now.
I always do Miracle on 34th Street. I always do Christmas Vacation, the National Lampoon one. The Grinch, like we already said. And I try to fit in at least one of the old animated specials, like Frosty or Rudolph, something like that.
One of my other favorites, I had this weird like thought. Once again, not a movie, but like a Christmas special. I remember, and like I don't know where I could watch them now. I'm sure I could look it up on YouTube or whatever. I remember loving the Yogi Bear Christmas special. I remember liking that one a lot when I was younger, and I remember liking the Flintstones one that's like kind of like the Santa Claus, the Tim Allen movie,
where like it has to be Santa.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember liking that one a lot when I was a kid.
I always do at least a couple of the American Dad Christmas specials, and if I can, a couple of the Supernatural Christmas specials.
And Futurama has some good Christmas episodes too.
What? Is that a robot Santa?
Oh, but yeah, I mean, so many good ones. Like there's a bunch of fun stuff. And, Bob's Burgers Christmas specials are always good too. That's another one to shout out, and by extension, The Great North, because they're kind of the same. They have a lot of the same feel. It's the same animation style. I think it's the same studio. Love those too. Those are always fun to watch as well. But yeah, that's kind of what I get up to. And then if something's on, and I think my wife likes to watch Love Actually. Okay. So that'll usually be on at some point.
But you can't have Love Actually, Jay.
Christmas is all around me, and we don't want to get sued.
I'm Keira Knightley. Somehow also sound like Patrick Stewart.
Oh, man. Speaking of Keira Knightley, at some point we'll have to do Silent Night, the Keira Knightley Christmas horror movie.
Oh, no. Well, at least we have comfort in the fact that it won't be worse than Krampus the Christmas Devil.
I mean, nothing's going to be. I say that optimistically.
Oh, Jay, we still have Krampus the Christmas Devil 2 to get through.
But yeah, there's so many good movies to watch, and I mean, yeah, but like Jeff said, leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys watch.
Let us know, like Jay said before, about your activities you've been doing for your Christmas season.
And
have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yep, we'll see you again next week with a full episode.
Yep, our episode is actually going to come out on Christmas, just by complete accident.
Well, the episode, I'm thinking the episode after this one. This one's New Year's.
Right, yeah.
So the one after that will have something. But yeah, our Black Christmas episode came out on Christmas.
Our amazing luck of not planning it all, and it still comes out on Christmas.
Yeah. Next year it won't. Next year it'll come out on Christmas Eve. No, this year's a leap year. Next year it'll come out 2 days before Christmas.
Oh no,
Christmas
a leap year.
Eve.
Not a leap year, Jay.
Or is this year? I don't know. Yeah, I think it is.
If February has 29 days, it's going to throw off my whole year.
But have a Happy New Year. Where I don't know if we're going to do a New Year movie for our January 5th, or not January 5th. That's way too early. January 8th episode.
We may.
I don't know if we'll do that or if we'll do a do another Christmas horror movie.
Do a
We'll kind of
standard
figure that
wheel
out when we
spin.
get there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Jay's got some traveling to do, so we'll have to sort that out when he gets back.
Yeah, we'll figure that out, and stay tuned for that. And thanks for listening. And
yes, listeners, have a good Christmas.
And sorry that this episode's so weird. Our stocking stuffer episodes are always a little loosey goosey.
This is what we like to talk about. This is the real Jeff and Jay.
Thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Goodbye.